It's vacation time, and I know so many people are already traveling. You've been traveled so much. So what tips can you give me in traveling? Any tip? Travel tips? Help her. What travel tips can you give me?
Prayer.
Prayer. Travel tip, yes. What travel tips can you give me?
Bring a lot of sunscreen.
Sunscreen? Safety? Jay?
Say pre-check.
Pre-check, yes, pre-check. Yes, it helps. What else? Ask the wife. You not travel? You don't travel? Okay. Okay. How about here? And
Only what you need.
pack what all you need, just what you need, right?
Yes, that's the same thing I said. Pack.
He heard you. How about here?
Bring your toothbrush.
That's one thing that you usually forget, huh? Even you pack all those things. How about on this side? Let's check on this. Travel tips.
The passport.
Bring the passport. Your husband, of course. Any travel tip?
Don't forget your medicine.
Medicine, of course, yes. Yes? Pack light. Yes, I love that. Because that's actually what the gospel is telling about, right? Bring no extra luggage, right? Sandals, money bag, whatever. That's the gospel is saying. But it's so hard because we often overpack. Just in case, right? You want to be secure. And, what I do is I have a list and checklist if I ever already put it into my luggage. And then, of course, envision, meaning seeing myself already there. Like, I watch YouTube to tell me that what to expect there, what are the places to visit, and things that you have to attend to, right? And of course, prioritize. And then, put, of course, a space for surprises, right? Even though how hard you tried to plan, by the second, something will come up. And so, have the joy of adventure and with people that you go with, and of course, the places and the events that you will be attending. The same thing is true with our life, because life is a journey. It's a pilgrimage. It's not just a tour, it's not just a vacation, but life is a journey. And so, what is our journey towards to? Our goal, our mission is to get there. To get there. Where? In heaven. I like to play with words, so I will use another word, right? How we can get there. To get there. Right? So, just to remind you, right? We have to go there together. So, this time, let us thank God and acknowledge those people sent to us by God to journey together. If you're married, your spouses. Nah? Yes, you can argue, but don't fight with your wife or your husband. Fight for your husband or wife. Fight for your marriage, right? Fight for your best friend. You can argue, but don't have a serious fight. Nah? But fight for that relationship that you try to, because we've been given a companion. The gospel says Jesus sent his disciples 2 by 2. Why 2 by 2? Because there's an important lesson there. That person will be your support, your encouragement when things are difficult and tough. To support you, to enlighten you, to, of course, to remind you, hey, this is our plan. And of course, to be a witness of what you're doing, to correct you, needed be. Right? The beauty of journeying together. We have to go there to get there, but together. So let us acknowledge those journeying with us. Because you will discover so many things and experience a lot of difficulties. Sometimes you will fail. Sometimes you will be rejected and criticized. But of course, you will also achieve greater heights and achieve so many things in your life. But sometimes there are also tragedy that you will face on your journey. But what is tragedy? Let us be helped by this writer. Charles Piggy. He said, "Lives hold only one tragedy. Ultimately, to not have been a saint." Why? At the end of your life, you will find yourself not able to get in to heaven because you're not a saint. But what is a saint? Let us discuss this a little bit. A saint is not those, of course, we are so maybe overwhelmed by those giants of our faith. Saint Augustine, Saint Monica, those people who can pray the whole night, have a miracle and a cure. Those are grace of God for them because they're called for a higher purpose. But let us concentrate on how they started their life. They are a small saint yet, just like you and me. What is a saint? A saint is a person who said yes to God and then never said no. Meaning, continue on saying yes. When life is so difficult, you say, "Yes, Lord, your will be done." Not only when times are good and perfect, you say, "Yes, Lord, your will be done." No. They've been challenges, and they grow from there saying yes again and again, no matter what they face. They actually encountered a lot of difficulty in your vocation in life. Me as a priest, I've always been challenged by this. How can be a saint? What is a saint? It's what God created you to be. And then be closer to that reality. Because the truth is, if you still some pain of being hurt, offended by someone, you're not yet what God has created you to be. There's still more to process in your life. When you're only loving those people that loved you, and sometimes you're not doing it perfectly still, right? I only love my family who loves me, my friends who loves me. Sometimes we betray that too. And so there's so many things that we can still do to perfect that response. Be closer to what God created us to be. When we can hardly forgive because they hurt us so much. But again, I have been forgiven. Why can I not forgive? So you see, situations will be given to us in good times and in bad. When you fail and you encounter God's grace of forgiveness in the sacrament of reconciliation. When you're faced with so much difficulty that the whole day is just like a punishment, like a suffering and a pain. And then the grace of God comes into you to surrender everything. "Yes, Lord, your will be done." That is the grace. When you face health scare, no? When you've been given the news that you have a cancer, how can you face that as a Catholic, as a faithful, saying yes to the Lord? It's difficult, but it's good to have somebody with you, journeying with you, to empower you, to encourage you. Just like what happened the other day, huh? The children being swept away by the flood. That's a tragedy. But how can I, who have not experienced that, be connected to them by embracing that suffering and saying, they suffered so much, and now I'm not suffering so much, but why can I say totally yes to God's will with the little suffering that I am encountering? I can live for them by saying yes to God in the situation that I am into. And you can go deeper into that kind of situation to be empowered by the suffering of others and be united with them by the love, by the grace of God given to you. That is the power of our faith. We should not be distance ourselves to them. Those people in the war-torn areas, those being persecuted by the faith, we should be connected to them by our own suffering and how we respond deeper into our conviction to say yes to God. That is how we grow into holiness that God is asking us. Yes, Lord, I know it's difficult, but may your will be done. Calibrate our desire. Because if our desire is only for this world, just in Vegas with our just family, then our desire will direct us to our destination. It will just end here. So let us elevate our desire to a higher one, to go to heaven so that our desire will bring us there. But again, it entails a lot of exercise of how we should love not just ourselves, but people around us. Be a saint because nothing else is there. What I'm saying here, yes, you can achieve so many things in life, but the tragedy of not becoming a saint will lead you nowhere. Saint Paul will help us understand this. He said, "May I not boast of anything but that of the cross of Jesus Christ." He is a very well-known man, achieved a lot of things, rich, well-educated. But he said, nothing can compare with embracing the cross of Christ, the salvation that he will be given. And that's it. At the end of our life, when we die, we will not enumerate to the Lord what we have accomplished, because the truth is this: our greatest glory is not what we have done, but always what God has done for us. Nothing is ours. It's always God's grace leading us if we open ourselves to Him. And so that's why at the end of the gospel, Jesus said, "Do not rejoice that the spirits are subjected to you, but rejoice because your names are written in heaven." That's our journey. We have to go there in heaven, but together. Together. Rejoice because your names are written in heaven. My dear brothers and sisters, let us empower one another, remind one another that we have to go there together. Do not just let those things that God has done in your life just die just in you. Let the story be told of how God saved you, how God lifted you up, how God embraced you and forgiven you. This is what I told my OCIA team. God has done amazing things in your life. Do not just let die without saying it to the people around us. And so that is the mission we are being sent into, to the world. Tell your story. Tell God's story in your life. And that is how we become church in this broken world. So many people are hurting. They need to hear your story. Amen.